All right, let me know when we're live.
You're live.
Outstanding. Well, thank you everyone for joining us, and welcome to Hump Day Hangouts episode 216. We are live. I am on the road, a little bit of the family holiday travel with some last minute stuff, so that's why I'm in the car on my phone. But also now we've got a different lineup here, so we get to go in a different direction. So let's start with Hernan. How's it going, man?
Hey man, good. I wasn't expecting to be first, but good, man. I just envy you a little bit that you get to live the laptop lifestyle, internet lifestyle, and whatnot. We get to stay home working, but I'm good. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, this is good. So the family's inside getting a beer, and I'm sitting in the car on a webinar. But I'm happy to be here. So after I wrap this up, I'm going to go join them, get some lunch, and I think we're going to do some hiking. We're on the California coast, so yeah, I can't complain. Bradley, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. No, things are good, man. I don't know.
It's been crazy because of the holiday. Obviously, I took several days off to spend with family, which I hope many of you did as well. And but now I'm ready to get back to it. I'm not even waiting till 2019. I feel like it's 2019 already, in that we've got so much that we're working on as far as building out the GMB lead gen assets. And we're really looking to scale over the next few weeks. I've got a second VA in training for doing all the build out processes, and she's coming along nicely. And we're going to be at the point. My team will be at the point where we should be able to optimize fully 10 assets per week, which is going to be awesome. Because and then we're going to start training a third VA. So sometime in January, guys, we may have that as a service available for you all as well inside of MGYB. Don't have a date for that yet, but we're working on it. So stay tuned.
Outstanding. Marco, how you doing? Did you have a good Christmas?
What's up, dude? Yeah. It was fabulous. We went and delivered Christmas presents for the kids in the charity. We delivered Christmas meals. We had their Christmas party, and then between all that, had time for dinner and lots of family time. So it was just a great time.
Good. Chris, how about you? What were you up to?
Yeah, I was with the family here. The only disappointing thing was pretty much that on the 22nd, all the snow melted away. And we had again another warm Christmas here. So unfortunately, no White Christmas. But other than that, it was quite good, like to be with family and see everybody again. And yeah, excited for 2019 already. As Bradley said, we're working hardly on the good stuff already.
Nice. Well, let's get into it real quick. I just wanted to say, if you're joining us for the first time, that's amazing. Thank you for spending the day after Christmas with us. But if you're wondering where to get started with us, the place we always recommend people to get started is go to battleplan.semanticmastery.com. Get started there. Grab the battle plan for repeatable processes. It covers a ton of areas. Not going to go into it, but if you're looking for a good place to start there. And then keep coming back to the Hump Day Hangouts. If you can catch them live, that's great. Get your questions in ahead of time. Catch them on YouTube, whatever works best for you. And then, the next thing we tell people is if you're looking to take things up a few notches, if you want to grow your peer group, you want a network, you want the pathway to really start growing, that the mastermind is the place to do that. And we wanted to take a few minutes and talk to you guys about some of the updates that we've had, both to kind of the way we structure the mastermind and the way we're going to do things moving forward. So part of this, it wraps into some bigger stuff, but you've heard us talk about the POFU path, and what we're doing with that, and want to be kind of explicit that there's two paths, right? Not everybody is going to take the same path, to achieving their POFU, right? You might already be, you might have an agency, you might already have clients. Some people don't though, and they're looking for ways to do that. And, we really recognize that and thought that that's, really important that those people have maybe the same goals, but they're going to take a different path to get there. Hernan, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, definitely. And first off, I really like this part of the year because of the fact that we get to do this, which is awesome. But also, that like we actually found out that there's like two types of people that join our mastermind, right? There's the type of a person of the entrepreneur, the digital marketer that's just starting out. He might or might not have a 9-to-5 job, and he wants to get more sales, more leads. He wants a way to get out of that 9-to-5 and start being his own boss. So that's like path A, if you would. And path B, there's a lot of people that join Semantic Mastery and the mastermind specifically because they want, they already have a couple clients. They might have a team in place and they want more. They want to scale. Things are going well and they want things to go better. So those are kind of the two paths that we have developed for 2019. So you get specific training depending on what's your position right now. So because each of those people will have different POFUs, right? So the main point is that if you're wanting to get off of your 9-to-5 job, be your own boss, start your own local marketing agency, start getting your first couple of clients, or maybe get a proven process like local GMBs and whatnot, we have a path for you. We have training specifically designed for you. Now, if you're on the other hand, where you're already seeing some income and you can reinvest on your business, you want to grow your team, now it's the time to take you out of the equation so that you can A, scale faster, and B, start actually reaping the rewards of that hard work that you have been putting on, right? So you can spend more time with your family, more time doing what you love. So that's another set of skills altogether. So the point is that we want to give you guys what you guys need. We have been developing a lot of content. Bradley specifically has been developing a lot of content over the past couple of years. And now is the time that we have decided to put an order to that, so that depending on where you're starting right now, you can start right now and get specific action points that you can take today to actually take you where you want to be. So.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, like what Hernan said, we've done that. And right now we're doing that over a 60-day path with whichever one fits you the best, and we've got that set up so that, really it can guide you through, because that's really crucial time, because we want you to get the most out of it immediately. We think, depending on where you're at, it could be that the peer group is the most valuable thing. But we want to make sure that if you want to grow, you can grow. And if you want to start, you can start. We know that there's people in both camps, and getting you the results you want is our goal. That's how we measure our success, is by hearing, when people join the mastermind and they experience that growth or they get that first client. That's the most important thing. So we've really structured that in a way that helps walk you through those steps so that you can get going quickly. And it's not ambiguous as far as, well, should I go here or here? There's no questions. It's, go here, do this, and you're going to see these results.
Yeah. And also, if I can add one last thing, is the fact that by this time of the year, we know for sure that a lot of people want to try the mastermind, but they are on the fence. So right now you have an opportunity, a really limited opportunity, because we only opened this for a couple of days, is to get on the mastermind for just $1, the $1 trial. You get access to, tomorrow's going to be the mastermind webinar, so you get access to experience a full in-depth, Bradley style type of webinar that's reserved only for the mastermind. And you also get to talk to one of us for 30 minutes. So you get one-on-one consulting for just $1, which is pretty cool. And we do this because the reality is that most people that take us on the trial will actually stay as a member because of the value that you can experience hands-on when joining the mastermind. Not only the training, but also the coaching, the follow-up, and the support that we give to each and every mastermind member. We know that training is awesome, but what happens if you're implementing and you get stuck, or maybe you pass it on to a VA and she doesn't know how to do that? That's why we have the private community. And I would say that there's over $10,000 worth of training that you get just for joining the mastermind. So you get access to the bi-weekly calls, you get access to the members area, which is getting a revamp as well. You get access to the community where you can ask any type of question. We're really active there. If we're not active in any other Facebook group, we're really active in the mastermind, because we think and we feel that we're responsible for the success of each student that comes to us. So take it. The link is on the events page right now. So go ahead and take it. It's a $1 trial. It's really, really limited. We can only take so many people during this season. So go ahead, take it, and come and see for yourself. So
one last thing.
Yeah.
That was great, Hernan. Thank you. But help us just keep doing these Hump Day Hangouts and help keep them free, go subscribe to our channel, go through the videos, like the videos. Please interact with the channel. That's how we're able to keep this going. I mean, where are we? I forgot which one this is today, but it's a whole lot of them.
Definitely. And as far as the mastermind and anything going on with that, Chris and Bradley, me and Hernan had a lot to say about it. I realize that, but do you guys have anything you want to chime in or anything you want people to know about it?
Yeah, it's awesome. Come join us. No,
where the cool kids are.
Yeah, I mean, excuse me. I've been working on the Google My Business stuff for several months now. And our POFU Live, which was our live event that we hosted, our first one in October, we had about a dozen or so of those members that came to our live event that are also building out, like in scaling their lead gen building, lead gen asset building, which is what I've been doing. And so we're kind of working as like a small group to develop the processes out. And it's great because if any of you guys were on the Local Lease Pro update webinar from last week, you know that like I'm terrible at using like Excel and things like that. It's a lot of, I'm not very good at using like Excel and working out like how to make things more efficient. Like I'm real good at finding data and figuring out how to make money from that, which is what we're doing with the GMB stuff. But as far as like my processes have been rather crude or bulky, right? Because I don't know how to do a lot of stuff to make it efficient, which is great for because of the little group, the small group that I'm in with the members that are helping me to build these processes out. A lot of sharp people in that group. And so some of them, like Chris G, for example, Chris Greenhow, who's our support manager, he's in the group, as well as Grant. Grant's another person that's in the group that's been helping develop out these like spreadsheets that do like pull in all the data with just all the stuff that I've been doing manually and that I trained my virtual assistants to do manually. Like they're creating these tools to make stuff so much more efficient, where literally you just plug in a little bit of data and the spreadsheet does all the work and goes out and scrapes the data from the websites and all that and pulls it in. It's absolutely amazing what these guys have been able to do, which is going to streamline our processes even more. And so that's the kind of stuff that we start to reveal in the mastermind as we get more, we refine these processes or polish these processes more. Then that's when I start sharing them in the mastermind. And so that's why it's beneficial to be part of it, guys, because, we talk about bits and pieces of it on Hump Day Hangouts. We also have courses like Local Lease Pro, for example, which will teach you the method, but it's not going to teach you how to scale it. It's not going to teach you how to develop the processes on your own. I mean, we have another product we call it Outsource Kingpin, which will teach you how to develop your own processes if you'd like. Or you could come join the mastermind and let us develop the processes for you. We'll share with you what we've done and what we have developed, which will save you a ton of time. So I know people look at the price tag of the mastermind at $297 a month and say, oh, well, I can't afford that. Well, how many JV Zoo products did you buy in the last month? How many WordPress plugins did you buy? How many video creation software tools did you buy in the last month? You stop buying all this stuff that probably really isn't making you any money, and you can start to apply it to something that can make you money. And mastermind itself won't make you money. You have to apply what you learn, but that's what we try to do, is provide our members with as much training and the resources as possible to where it's the least amount of work as possible. And so that's part of what's going to be coming a lot over the next several months in the mastermind, as we really refine these processes for developing or scaling our lead gen asset building. We're going to be sharing a lot of that in the mastermind. So again, guys, I know 2019 is right around the corner. Make it a good investment in yourself. And I would highly encourage you to stop buying all the shit that doesn't really add to your bottom line. If anything, buying products and tools and stuff like that actually detracts from your overall business, because it's a distraction. It takes money out of your pocket. It takes time to learn how to use or to apply, which, let's be honest, how many of you actually use everything that you buy? I certainly don't. So my point is, I would reconsider what your goals are for 2019 and really think about it. And if you want to do something that can really generate some business or some revenue for your business, I would consider getting into local lead gen and asset building right now while the opportunity is hot. And the mastermind's a really good place to be if you want to do that. Anybody else want to comment on it?
Yeah, just to say, one, I totally agree with what Bradley said, and also the community, building that network. Something we help our mastermind members do is to get together in small groups so that you can really dive deep into these areas that you're interested in. And the power in that is incredible, as well as the larger network of the mastermind as well. So, like Hernan said, the link's there. The link is below. If you want to join, give it the trial. It's only available for a few days. We have a very limited number, but we will make sure that we hop on, give you an onboarding call, get you pointed in the right direction, and make sure that this is the best place it can be for you.
That's it. All right, if you guys are cool, I'm going to jump in.
Real quick, though, I did want to mention, Bradley, before we get started, we're in the middle now of the MGYB Done For You Services holiday sale. So you guys don't want to miss out on that. I think Hernan hopefully took care of it for me and put a link up on that as well. We got some, thank you. We got some kick-ass sales going on. So check that out. That's going to end, though, on New Year's Eve. So don't let that go by too long. And I think there's a question on it, the very first question. So I'll just let us answer that, and that's a part of it. But yeah, go check those out.
Yeah, I was going to read this question and have you answer it because I'm not sure what our I don't run the store, guys, just so you know, because I know I get private messages occasionally about stuff from the store, and I always just say, just contact support because I don't know. I don't run the store, guys, so I apologize for that. But Jason, what's up, Jason? Longtime member. He says, is there a limit to the verified GMBs we can buy at a 50% discount before December 31st? If I buy, say, 20 today, can I spread them out over a couple weeks to get the listings assigned to the niche? Who wants to answer that?
Yeah, as far as I know, that shouldn't be a problem. So, Jason, go ahead, and if anybody else wants to take advantage, we do have a limit. We can't let you hold on to those indefinitely. But if you're thinking it might be more than a month or something, just contact us, support at mgyb.co, and hit us up, and we'll make sure it's clear before so that there's no issues. But yeah, Jason, that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, well, what we don't want is people waiting 90 days or 6 months or whatever before they submit the information. But Jason, yes, of course, go buy, and then later on when you have all of your data and everything together, send us the information. Just please, if you think it's gonna take 4, maybe 5, 6 weeks, then you have to let us know. You have to right. That's something that we have to know so we know what to expect. But but by all means, you don't have to go in, buy them, and submit all the information right away.
Very good. All right, next, Greg's up. He says, "What's up, Greg?" He says, "I plan to use a brand new video for YouTube ads. Will it be a negative for the video and my new YouTube channel when the video has a lot of 5-second views as people click out of the ad?" I think Justin Sardi mentioned in his video ads training that he puts his advertising videos on a separate channel to avoid the short views being associated with his main channel. This is my first time using a video for YouTube ads. Do you have any tips? Okay, so first of all, I don't know. I've never heard of that being an issue or causing an issue. In fact, one of my primary methods for ranking YouTube videos in Google search is by setting up YouTube ads or Google ads for YouTube. It's a great way for ranking local videos because you can literally buy engagement signals from Google. Google says you're not allowed to buy views, but you can buy views from Google, right? And that's on the ads platform. And so one of the ways, and I've talked about this many, many times on Hump Day Hangouts, guys, it's been a trick up my sleeve for a long time for ranking local videos or videos with local keywords, right? For local keywords. And the reason why is because you can go in and set up an in-stream ad, right? Which is those are the ads that play before as a pre-roll ad, right? They play before the video that the viewer intended to watch. Your ad can play in front of that, right? You guys are all familiar with that. Well, what you can do with a local video is, and I do this all the time, guys, is I create set my geographic targeting, right? Very specifically, it could be a radius from a specific point, or I could set zip codes or city names or county names or state or whatever I want. But typically what I do is, whatever the service area is for the business, if it's a service area business, I will set that geographic targeting, right? So it might be, a 30-mile radius, or it might be 2 counties or something like that. So first I set my geographic targeting, and then I set my topic targeting, or what they call audience targeting. And if you can find an in-market audience or a life event audience, and guys, this is all in YouTube ads. Okay, it's when you're setting up an ad, it prompts you to select your audiences and your locations and all that stuff. Okay, but from audience targeting, if you can find an in-market audience category that fits your niche or the product or service that you're trying to promote, then use that, or a life event audience. That also works really well. You can do topic targeting if you can't find a good life event or in-market audience. You can do topic targeting, although it doesn't typically work as well. And you can also do keyword targeting. Keyword targeting is very different in YouTube than like doing search ads or whatever. But the whole reason why I'm telling you all this is because I've been using local or ranking local videos using YouTube ads for a long time, because I'm buying clicks from geo-targeted clicks. Excuse me. I'm buying geo-targeted clicks. And if I get my topic or audience targeting, my audience targeting right, then those people, especially using in-market or life event audiences, as I just mentioned, those people are known to Google to be in the market or actively searching recently for those types of products and or services. And so a click from the location that you specify, which would be a local IP click or view, I should say, plus from somebody that is known to Google to be in market for that particular product or service, then that is a heavily weighted view. In other words, that view is going to count a hell of a lot more than a view from somebody 4 states away that, has been just perusing funny cat videos all day. Does that make sense? So my point is, like, those types of views are very, very weighted. And whether somebody clicks to skip the ad or not, it doesn't matter. It still registers as a view. And so all of the videos that I rank for local clients, as well as for, video production companies and such, I have YouTube ads running for every single one of them, guys, every single one of them. And again, the views are typically not very much, as Greg's mentioning here, like 5 seconds or so. Well, that's not necessarily true, because most of the videos that I use are the local videos that I'm doing this method with are 1 minute long videos. They're roughly a minute. And what it shows is the engagement rate is typically, if you can find a good in-market or life event audience, I'm seeing an average of 40% view rate. In other words, people will watch up to 40, roughly 25, 30 seconds of the ad of the video before they click off. And so that just goes to show you, if you can set your geographic targeting and your audience targeting correctly, then that's really all you need. And here's the thing, guys, like, if you're setting targeting for topic targeting, for example, then that would be like, let's just say it's for roofing services. Okay. Which, by the way, that's an in-market audience. So it's a great audience for that. If you're doing any type of roofing contractor, lead gen for roofing contractors or anything like that, this is a great strategy, guys. But if you can set your geographic targeting and then set like the in-market audience to roofing, only people that have been recently researching roofing services and looking for roofing contractors, okay, then what happens is, it doesn't matter what video that searcher is on YouTube looking for. They could be just on there searching for stupid cat videos, right? But because Google, first of all, they're geographically located in the area that we set. And second of all, Google knows that they have recently been searching for roofing contractors. Then my video could play in front of that stupid cat video for roofing contractors, even though it's an unrelated topic. Google already knows that searcher, that YouTube user has been in market for that, and they fit the criteria that we set within our targeting. And so that view, even if they click off of it within 5 seconds, it still registers as a view, and it's a heavily weighted view because Google knows who that person is and what their profile is about, right? They're likely to be interested in that content. So again, I have never heard of that 5 second thing being a problem, because all of the ads that I run, they just go through my standard YouTube, channel that I have connected to a ton of syndication networks and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, standard operating procedure for me is anytime I'm trying to rank a local video in Google search, I also set up ads. And again, with proper targeting, sometimes I'm only doing it for SEO purposes. Let's be very clear. I set up the ads to help rank the video. However, with proper targeting, some of those clicks you will get or views you will get from the ads will actually convert. You'll get some clicks, not many. So you get you're trying to get the view count up. You will get some clicks, and then out of those clicks, occasionally, if you can get your targeting very, very narrow, very tight, so that it's super relevant, some of those clicks will end up converting too. And so again, I've not heard of this 5-second thing. I've not experienced that. I use the same method that I just mentioned. For again, a standard operating procedure, guys. Every single time I go to rank a video for a local client now or for lead gen or anything, I push it through my channel with all of my syndication networks attached, and then I set up a YouTube ad. And that's how most of my videos stay ranked, is because I set up $1 a day targeting, or a budget, excuse me, $1 a day budget. And after a couple of weeks, I actually start backing my budget down and my maximum cost per view bid until I get down to about 2 to 3 cents per view. And then I have my budget down to 50 cents per day, guys. That turns out to be $15 a month to maintain a video on the first page of Google using the ads, Google Ads Network. So again, it's Greg. If you want to follow Justin Sardi's training, I know he's great at YouTube ad stuff, and that's perfectly fine. I actually recommend him for YouTube ads training. But when it comes to SEO stuff, I don't see it being any issue, and I've not experienced that as a problem. That was a good question, though. I don't assume anybody else wants to comment on that, do you?
Go it.
Okay. Jeff's up. He says, for the purpose of building out RYS stacks, is there any benefit to creating an account in GSuite and building a stack there? Let's see. Has an account for bb at mydomain.com. SM does their magic in this account versus going through the process of creating a new Gmail account. Yes, Jeff. Obviously, there's, in my opinion, and I'm sure Marco will agree, anytime that you can do things to help validate the account, it's going to help your, improve your chances with Google, right? For example, if you using a GSuite account with your own custom domain, email, and all of that stuff, you're paying Google. And so Google now has a, billing details associated with that account. It just adds more authority. It adds more validity, I guess you could say. It validates the entity further for Google. And so, in my opinion, yeah. Now, I don't recommend you guys go out and set up GSuite accounts for each and individual lead gen asset you have, because that could get rather expensive. But for setting up RYS stacks, I know having a GSuite account, doing it under that could help. But Marco, what do you say?
I always tell people to pay Google, right? It's part of the process. It's in the black book. It's in the done for you users guide. That's what's recommended. Go pay Google, and you get rewarded. Now, whether directly, indirectly, however it is that it happens, Google stops seeing you as a leech and starts seeing you as a paying client. And this is just my theory. So that when time comes for the bot to look through everything, the first thing that it's going to look at is, are we going to be messing with a customer, with a paying client, or are we going to be messing with a leech? I think they'd rather mess with a leech than a paying client, right? Push comes to shove. And then they might come back and start looking at other things. It's not something that I know for sure because I don't work for Google, but it's something that we've seen time after time, that the more that we get into Google, the more we pay. Google ads, YouTube ads, inside Google, extra drive space. They have your credit card on file. They see everything. And so that seems to work really well. And you don't even have to create that for us. We can create the Google stack with the Gmail account, and you could just make yourself, whatever your GSuite account is, the owner of that drive stack. Yeah. So, I mean, you don't even have to go through all that.
To clarify that for Jeff, what Marco was saying was, for example, you could purchase a done-for-you drive stack from us, and then once you get it delivered, once we deliver it to you, then you could have your GSuite account. You add your GSuite account as a manager and then assign ownership to it. I'm thinking of GMB stuff, but it's pretty much the same process. You would give editing permissions to your GSuite account, and then you could assign ownership to that as well, so that then your GSuite account takes ownership of it, and it's not the free Google account anymore at that point. So it's not something that you have to provide on the front end is what we're saying. Okay. All right. So thanks, Marco. Armand, it's been a while since you posted. What's up, Armand? He says, what's up, you awesome ass dudes? Love you guys. We should all get married. Anyway, question. How would you use a Google Stack for an e-commerce site? That's a good question for Marco. I can't answer it because I just don't do e-com. And number two, is our Google Stacks as effective as they were years ago? I can answer that one. But first, Marco, start with the e-commerce. Can you provide any insight?
Yeah, absolutely. People shouldn't get boxed in. You know, we talk a lot about local, but that's because most of our people are oriented towards local marketing anyway. But we always say this, right? Your local is only limited by what you want your local to be. So if you want your local to be the city or the neighborhood that you're in, that's your local. But what if you make it your city? Or what if you make it the county or the state or the U.S.? I don't know if you're in the U.S., Armand. I'm just guessing that you are. Or in the case of e-commerce, what if you make it global? The only thing that changes is the way that we create relationships, and that's something that's taught inside RYS Academy. I'm not going to teach it here. Now, it's not ready yet, but we have something awesome coming up for RYS Academy Reloaded. It should be ready in the next 2, maybe 3 months. And it's specifically targeted for those people who want to make their local whatever it is that they want it to be. That's what it's going to be geared towards. So if you want to make it your neighborhood, the city, county, state, nation, global, you're going to be able to do it. And that's what we're going in the lab, and we're going to be working on that.
There you go. Question 2, are Google Stacks as effective as they were years ago? Yeah, they are, Armand. I mean, you got, here's the thing. They're still every bit as effective. It's just there's different signals now that Google's looking for than they were when we first, when Marco really first discovered this. So here, what I'm saying is, guys, you know, a lot has changed over the last, how long's RYS been out? 3 years now?
In August, it'll be 4 years.
Yeah, so it's been just over 3 years now. And so a lot has changed in 3 years as far as, you know, what moves the needle and that kind of stuff. The combination of what Google's looking at overall has changed, right? So we know that Drive Stacks still help to move the needle. Is it the be-all, end-all? No, of course not. In some cases, it may be. But again, those results are not typical. Like, for example, I show the Virginia SEO, you know, the first Drive Stack I ever built, which isn't even up to our standards today, and it's still outranking other SEO, you know, Virginia SEO companies. And that one is one of those types where I haven't done anything to it, and it just ranked, and it's just stayed ranked since May of 2015. So we're talking, you know, 3.5 years now that thing's been ranked, which is crazy. And I haven't done anything to it. But that's, again, results aren't typical. In some cases, you will see that, but in other cases, it's going to require more stuff, you know, additional signals. A lot of variables go into whether or not the Drive Stack's going to be enough to produce the results you want, right? Competitiveness, what is your competition? You know, how many other index pages are there covering, targeting those keywords that you're targeting? All that kind of stuff goes into it. So are they as powerful, as effective as they used to be? Yes. But you still have to add other things into them, right? And there's a lot of, like, for example, we know that proximity right now is a huge thing, which 3 years ago when RYS was at first, when Marco first developed the RYS method, that wasn't nearly as important as it is right now. So if you're doing local, I know you're talking about e-commerce, but if you were doing local, RYS stacks can be very, very effective to push additional local relevancy as well as topical relevancy. And in your case, as an e-commerce site, you can use Drive Stacks to push topical relevancy into, say, category pages for whatever it is that you're selling. So I know that there's a lot that can be done with an RYS stack, even to e-commerce. Like I said, I don't do e-commerce, so I can't really provide any insight on that. But yes, Google Stacks are just as effective as they were a few years ago, but it's just only part of the overall pie that you need in order to rank something, in my opinion. Marco, comment on that one as well, please.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the main things that that you need with this is entity, right? But people talk about entities and they don't really know what's what. So on January 14th at 3 p.m. Eastern, as part of our charity drive again, anyone who donates to the charity will get into that webinar, and they will get access to the previous 2 webinars. And Armand, if you didn't watch the 2 previous webinars, and if you don't know anything about it, about entities, if you don't have the black book, and if you don't have the Done For You Users Guide, and even if you do, I suggest that you watch the previous 2 webinars, and I suggest that you, when we mail our list, that you donate and that you attend the webinar, because this is exactly what I'll be getting into. And I'll be getting into the differences on whether you're working local, or if you're working, well, not if you're working local, how the entity needs to be treated differently depending on what your local is.
That's it. Okay, next is Lori. What's up, Lori? I haven't seen her in a while. She was a former mastermind member. She ended up resigning from the mastermind, or left the mastermind recently, because she took on a job that she'd been looking for a long time, which was really, really awesome. So congratulations on that, Lori. We definitely miss you in the mastermind, but thanks for stopping by, and you're always welcome to come ask questions here. You know that. Shane's up. He says, are your syndication networks set up so that every new post syndicates through them? Yes, Shane. That's the whole point. So yes, absolutely. If you provide the RSS feed, we will connect everything for you so that every time you post a blog post, it will syndicate through the network. That's what their intention is, right? That's what they're intended to do. Is syndication networks to syndicate content. It's for content amplification. Okay, that's exactly what they do. Also, I'm working on an HTTPS version of a website for a client that hasn't switched over from the HTTP version yet, but will soon. But it will soon. Is it okay to set one of your syndication networks, RYS stacks, and press release orders in motion before I actually launch? Yeah, that's fine, Shane. Just what I would do is with your order, just you include the or use the HTTPS version of the URL, so that when the products are completed and we deliver them to you, nobody has to go, including you, doesn't have to go back in and edit them to add HTTPS. Besides, remember, you're going to end up, if it's with WordPress, typically you use a plugin like Easy SSL or something like that. There's several different types of plugins, or HTTPS redirections, another one of them, which will automatically will set up a redirect so anybody that's visiting the HTTP version will be forced onto the HTTPS version. Okay, that's normal stuff. There's plugins that do that. You can do that via htaccess. If you're using Cloudflare, you can use they call page rules. There's a number of ways to do that. And so it really doesn't matter. Even if you had HTTP as your URL in your drive stack, for example, once you go HTTPS, everything will be forced onto the HTTPS anyways. So it's not that big of a deal. But what I would recommend is that you place your order with the HTTPS version of your URL. Just make sure that the RSS feed is indeed working on HTTPS and has at least one post, because an RSS feed will be rejected by IFTTT unless it has an item contained in it. So you need to make sure that that's available first, or else we can't set up your network for you. Okay. But again, I would recommend just going ahead and ordering everything with the HTTPS version of the URL, because you're in the process of switching over anyways. And so once you do, everything will be the way that you want it, and it won't have to be edited, which is a bunch of unnecessary work. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Also, is it okay to start building citations? Yes, for the HTTPS version. Once again, because that's what you're going to be switching to. So yes, absolutely. Go ahead and build on the HTTP or citations with the HTTPS version of the URL.
A word of warning to Shane, since you're switching over, and I don't know who's doing it for you, and I don't know how. When they say that they've done it, go check every version of the the non-HTTPS version of the website, just to make sure that it was done correctly. Because sometimes they'll leave one version out and it won't redirect, and then everything that we just talked about, you won't get the benefit, because of course it's not redirecting over to HTTPS. As long as it's redirected correctly, as long as everything has the correct 301s in place, whether it's HT access, whatever it is that you're using to redirect, as long as that's right, then everything will transfer over to the SSL.
Yeah. Yeah, and keep in mind whenever you do that switch, I don't know how to, like, I'm not a server nerd, guys, and I don't know CSS and all that stuff. And I know that whenever I've done switching from non-SSL over to SSL, I've had themes break. I've had, you know, style sheets or CSS or whatever break. And so the sites look all funky and all that kind of stuff. So typically what I do is if I'm switching an existing site now, if I'm now when I build a new site, which is rare because I'm just building GMB websites now, but when I do build a WordPress site, I install WordPress and immediately switch everything to HTTPS. And then from that point, I start building the site out. But for existing sites, what I've always done is just gone to Upwork and found somebody that, go to Upwork and look for SSL implementation or HTTPS or something like that, or WordPress support, CSS, anything. You can look for a number of different keywords or whatever, but find somebody that can go in and clean up any messes that are made from switching over from HTTP to HTTPS. Because again, unless you're familiar with all that stuff, I'm not. And I don't want to take the time to learn how to do it. So I always just go to Upwork and I usually find somebody that's overseas somewhere. And I usually just say, look, I'll pay you $50 to go through this WordPress site and get everything. And usually that's way more, like, and that's just because I just offer it. But I know that I've had in the past when I didn't have as much, I didn't have as many resources, I would, have people bid on it, and I would get people say, oh yeah, I'll do it for $20. $20 to go through the site and clean up any messes from switching over. That's a no-brainer. I mean, again, it would take me hours to research that kind of stuff to figure out what needed to be done, where I could just pay somebody $20 or even $50 and it's done, and it's done well, and I don't have to worry about it. So Shane, that's what I would recommend unless you know what you're doing. Okay. Outreach nerds, do you teach how to verify GMBs? No, but we do provide it as a service. Check out mgyb.co.
Well, just so I can add really quick to that, listen, most people who are teaching verification methods are methods that don't usually work.
They don't stick.
I mean, you just can't get it, or it doesn't stick. It gets banned right away. Or those who do know how to verify are keeping it so close to their chest that there's no amount of money available that you could offer for us to teach you how to do it. There's just no way, because so many people can do it. So few people can do it correctly. So I mean, that's just my 2 cents on it. Sorry, it's not something that we're going to teach. Nope. It's not being taught, and it will never be taught as long as I'm a member of Semantic Mastery.
No, because here's the thing, guys. You teach something like that, how to do that, and what happens? It gets abused and it gets shut down. And that's the problem. Why would anybody want, you kill the goose that lays the golden eggs, right? Why would you want to do that? I mean, think about that, guys. It's not that we're trying to keep a stranglehold on GMB verifications. It's not that at all. But when you put that kind of information out publicly, it's just like everything else we teach, right? Or anybody teaches, not just us, but you put a method out there and it ends up getting abused and spammed to death, which is fine. I get it. That's what we do, right? But eventually when it's been circulated too much, it ends up getting terminated. That it gets overused and it becomes less effective, or flat out stops working altogether. And so that's part of the reason why it seems to me awfully silly to be teaching how to do that, because it just gets saturated and gets terminated or shut down by Google. So I would say no, we're never going to teach that. All right, guys, looks like we are done early. We don't have any other questions. So unless you guys want to hang out and sing show tunes and shit, I think I'm going to wrap it up.
I'm just putting the link to Umar and everyone else, for that matter, that want to come and test drive the mastermind. Tomorrow we have a mastermind webinar, so it will be a good idea if you want to join, if you want to check it out. And also you will be prompted to let me show my camera. So you will be prompted to complete a form so that we can hop on a call. Your 30-minute call with one of the Semantic Mastery team. So that's going to be pretty awesome. The link, it's on the live event over there. So go ahead and check it out.
Yep. Another question just came in from Wayne. Wayne, what's up, buddy? Merry Christmas to you, Wayne, by the way. Wayne says, curious if you think a Google site's ability is diluted if you give it a domain name, so a custom domain, versus keeping it on the Google URL. No, because if and I've showed this in the mastermind, Wayne. I can't assume that you've seen all of them though. But yeah, Google site, when you map a custom domain to it, both sites are still live and available online. In other words, you can still view the site on the Google domain as well as view it on your own custom domain. And if you look, the canonical on both versions of it, the canonical is set to the custom domain. So you're still benefiting from the Google site, the Google domain. Because again, the site is live on both locations. You're just canonicalizing it, and Google does this automatically. It canonicalizes it to the custom domain. So essentially, you're just basically pushing the relevancy from the Google domain over to it anyways, but both pages will remain indexable. Does that make sense? Marco, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, this is the wonderful thing about the limitations of Google and Google sites, because there's no real, like the CMS is very limited, right? The content management system. And in order for you to continue using, whether it's a map domain or the GSite, you need access to that content management system. And so Google keeps it live because that's the only way that you can manage the content is through Google CMS. And so that's why they add, which is just Wayne, think about it. It's perfect. It canonicalizes up to your domain. So I don't want to get too deep into what you can do, but think of all the opportunities that you have if you have a live Google URL canonicalized up to your own custom domain.
That's right.
Think about that.
Think about, I'm not going to reveal it, but just guys, think about logically, if you've got a Google site and the same exact site on a custom domain, and the Google site is canonicalized to the custom domain, which of those should be your link targets? I'm not going to answer that. I want you guys to think about it and answer it. You should all know the answer to that. You should use one of those as your link target, your primary link target when you're doing external link building. And there's a reason for that. So anyways, again, that's one of those things. Jim says, do you guys not offer a power up on the stacks like it was on the prior site? Well, yes and no, Jim. Right now we don't have Dedia's service in MGYB yet. It's coming. So you could reach out to him directly if needed. Just reach out to him in one of our Facebook groups, and you can go direct to him. Eventually, we're going to have him in the marketplace, but he's not there right now. But also, as I've talked about a lot recently, press releases are my primary link building method now. It's not because Dedi is not amazing, he is, but I have access to a shit ton of press releases, and I use them all the time. And I love press releases for link building, and we do offer that in MGYB right now. And I think there's probably specials going on right now for the Christmas sale that we have. So I would check that out also.
Yeah, and they're on the page over there. So I put the link. So there's we have a page with all of the deals that we're running right now for MGYB.
We have direct access to Dedia because we have them in our Slack chat with the rest of the VAs, because they're constantly going back and forth. Since he does all of our indexing, by the way, for RYS Academy Reloaded. That's how we get everything to index as much as possible. It's because Dedia does it. So we have direct access to them. Jim, just write to us, support@mgyb.co, and we'll take care of you.
There you go. Yeah, that's why we need to get that page up sooner than later. All right, guys, I'm wrapping it up. I got work to do, so we'll see you all next week. By the way, Mastermind webinar tomorrow, guys. If you want to join the Mastermind $1 trial, now would be a good time. So we're going to have a good webinar tomorrow. So thanks, everybody, for hanging out. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Hey, guys.
Bye, everyone.